more gracious.
Wait, hold up, I got next. No dirt on my name, that's a flex, yeah. I just want commas, no drama, no stress. I got too much, I'm thankful, I'm blessed. Way up, I'm way, hold up, I got next. No dirt on my name, that's a flex, yeah. I just want commas, no drama, no stress. I got too much, I'm thankful, I'm blessed. Way up, I'm blessed. My life looking.
Yeah, but I would make the argument, and I think that you would agree, that a child that gets to the age to know right from wrong, right, that hasn't been taught right from wrong by their parents or anyone else, if they see somebody being murdered, would know that that is something wrong.
So if they weren't taught that, I would disagree.
Well, I guess
I don't think morals are inherent. So I just personally disagree. I think morals are subjective.
well, instead of just
If you're not
disagreeing,
brought up in that, so that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that morals are taught to you based on
yeah, but
societal standards and familial standards and things of that nature, and people are taught different things. So that's how morals are created. They're not given to you by a higher power.
that's what you're saying, yes. But instead of just saying, I just disagree, what would be a refutation instead of saying, I just simply disagree?
Well, what do you mean? Are you asking me to prove it?
Yes. Prove what you were saying.
Can you prove what you said first?
So is that a no from your end?
Yeah, I think morals are subjective, so I cannot prove where they come from. That's my claim. Can you prove that these come from the Christian God or whatever God you believe in?
But how can you make the
I don't know why you
claim?
brought that up when you cannot
How can
prove
you
that.
make the claim that morals are subjective, yet don't have any evidence or anything to support said claim?
I'm basing it on my worldly views, on how I've gone through the world, what I observe.
So
I didn't say I could
yourself
prove
is the
it.
standard.
I'm saying that's
So
what I
yourself
believe.
is the standard, then, right?
No, myself is not the standard. I'm
Excellent.
saying
What's
that
the standard?
for morals,
Yeah. How would you determine that morals are subjective? What would be a standard or a criterion
for
that
me
would be
personally, it's
different
based on
from
how I
the
was
moral?
raised and societal standards.
So again, yourself is the standard, then, right?
I mean, if you want to define it that way, but no, I'm not saying me personally. I'm saying based on my environment, based on what I grew up in, and based on
Excellent. So
laws that are
you would
around me and
agree.
stuff
You
like
would
that.
agree back in ancient Egypt, then slavery was morally acceptable, right? It was
No,
moral to have them,
no,
right? It's a
I
good thing.
personally don't think it was moral.
Why?
Because
Why?
I do not personally think owning a person is a moral thing to do.
But you just said according to
You
society.
don't understand
Right?
what.
Did you
You
just
don't
say according
understand.
to societies and their morals? Didn't you just say that?
Are you gonna let me talk?
Well, I'm wondering how somebody with a subjective
Are you gonna let me
morality.
talk?
In a minute.
I'll
I wonder,
happily answer you.
in a minute, I will let you speak if you stop speaking over top of me. So you
You
just
asked me a question and then interrupted me.
I love atheists, man. This is all they do is they wait until you start speaking, then they interrupt you. So what I'll do is I'll drop you down, Savage, and I'll bring you up after I speak, and then I'll let you speak since you can't stop interrupting people. So
What
he
happened,
said
man?
that it
My
was,
my wife was calling me. What happened?
oh, this Savage. Every time I tried to open my mouth to explain something, he would open his mouth and try to talk over me so that I couldn't get my point across, and he keeps asking the same question. But the problem with him, and I asked him about ancient Egypt, the slavery that they believed was moral back then, does he believe was moral? And he said no. Well, the problem with that answer is now he's imposing his own subjective standard of morality upon another group of people. How is he able? How can he justify imposing his own subjective morality on another place, people, and society that had their own morality and they believed that that was moral? Who's he to say that those people were wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Let them melt back. I guess you can come back up, Savage, if you want. What's up, Ice?
Yo, what's up?
What's
So,
happening, bro?
how is all of this antichrist?
You say that one more time.
So, how is like all of this antichrist?
Because they deny Christ as being the Son of God, and you deny the Son, then you deny the Father. And if you don't believe that Christ is the Son of God, then you are Antichrist.
But ain't Jesus prophet or something?
Are you Muslim?
Yeah. It's like and Muslim like Jesus
You are
prophet.
Muslim?
Yeah.
Then you're making you got a lot of noise. Second Timothy, I mean not Second Timothy, First John 2:22. You read it in our scriptures, it tells us. I'm gonna read it for you. Who is a liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist who denies the Father and the Son. Whoever denies the Son does not have the Father either. He who acknowledges the Son has the Father also. So let me ask you a question, Ice. Is Jesus the Son of God?
Um. My belief no, because
No,
God don't have
no,
son.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Is God a father?
Well, Allah is God.
Is he a father?
Well, he's a God.
Okay, but is he a father?
No, because to me a father is
Okay,
like a like like father family.
right. But I'm not. Let's get this straight. We're not talking about copulating with a woman, or like having intercourse, anything like that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not what we believe when we say we are sons of God, or it's not what we believe as Christians. He's our spiritual heavenly Father that we got adopted by. You understand what I mean? So if you
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
right, so if you deny the Father, you don't believe that God is a Father, and you don't believe that Jesus is His Son, then by that very definition, you will be an antichrist. You have an antichrist spirit.
Damn. I thank you. Like that's all. Like that's what my question is. Like, I just want to ask about that.
Right. So you don't want to be an antichrist? Come to
I,
Christianity.
thank you. I learn a lot from you.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, my bad. Hold up. Thank you. I actually learned a lot from you.
No
From
problem,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
All right, Savage, you back up.
All right, well, thanks for bringing me up. I don't understand why I was booted, but it's not even worth getting into all that stuff. So thanks for having me back up.
Right. So the last time I believe you were saying that morality is subjective.
Correct.
Depends on person to person.
Yeah, and I guess I was talking to Chris, and he was saying that because the ancient Egyptians had slaves, that I was saying that that is okay, and I said no, I don't think that's okay. And he said so my moral subjectivity was imposing on them, and then he
Okay,
disconnected
so
me.
let's move off the slavery. Let's see if we can come to common grounds on something, right? Is raping a girl or woman absolutely wrong?
So yeah, I personally 100% agree that's wrong. But there
Right.
are
So, but what if the
so
next guy?
my,
What if the next guy think date
right,
rape
and
is
that's
right?
my entire point is that somebody may go, no, I don't have any problem with that, and then so their morals are that it's okay. I don't
So is
agree
he
with
right
it.
for
I
thinking?
think it's horrible. I don't agree with it, but that doesn't. So my the entire point is the whole argument that Chris was trying to give was that if a a community believes something that I don't believe in, that I'm saying that they are right somehow. I just disagree with them. So like
Right, but how can you
I don't
disagree?
agree with Grape.
Right, Savage. But this is the thing. How can you disagree with them? Because they believe it's right. It's all subjective. It's right in their eyes. It's wrong in your eyes. And I'm glad you think it's wrong. No,
Hmm.
no, no, no doubt. I'm glad you think that's wrong. But how can you say that they're wrong? How can you say that? Because the way they feel and the way they choose to act is just as valid as yours.
Right. So again, it's based on how I was brought up. So it's based on what my parents taught me. It's based on what society taught me. It's based on my internal logic. It's not based on a a book that was written about a deity. So
It's not
that
based
that
on a,
that
like I had to tell the last girl, we don't get that from a book. Like the book just
right. But
conveys a
so I
message,
guess,
but
and I don't know if you
we
remember my original point. Like you said that it was inherently brought. That was my original point that I was curious about because that kind of made me curious to come up and talk to you. Was that you said something along the lines of that you're inherently born with morals from
so
God.
do you think we develop a conscious, do you think we develop guilt?
Develop guilt?
Yeah, it's not eternally in us to where once we become of age, we know certain things.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely develop things based on age. So yeah, absolutely. That's
No, I'm
kind of my
talking about
point.
metaphysical things. Because
What
you
do you mean
can't
by
put guilt in a
can you
test
explain
tube,
what you mean by metaphysical? That's
right?
kind of
Because
a
you
vague
can't put
term.
guilt in a test tube. You can't say, "Oh, I'm guilty. Look, take out my blood, test it. See, there's guilt right there."
Right, right. Yeah,
You
you cannot
you
do that.
can't get that from a test tube, right?
Right, I completely agree.
So it's something more to us than just matter and energy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Right.
not sure. I'm not sure the
So,
point you're trying to get to.
well, this is the point. We can't, matter and energy do not produce metaphysical things.
Right, but
There's something.
what do you
There's a
mean by
higher.
metaphysical?
We
What do you
have a
mean by
higher
metaphysical?
conscience. We have a higher consciousness than just our body and our actual brain.
Okay.
You know, matter don't produce these types of reactions or feelings. A rock can't feel nothing. A rock can't think. A rock don't have
Hmm.
can't love. So it's more than to us into this world than just matter and energy that you can see, feel, taste, and touch. You know, it's more to us.
Right. No,
And matter
I agree. I
don't
agree.
produce these
Consciousness
things.
is a thing. Yeah, I agree.
Right. So this had to be given to us from somewhere else.
It doesn't have to have been.
It really does.
Why?
Because we just agreed that matter can't produce these type of things.
Wait. I didn't say You didn't say that matter could produce these things. I didn't say matter could produce these things. I'm
I said
saying we don't
matter.
understand where it comes
I
from.
said I said matter and energy
Right.
is not
No. I don't
metaphysical
think
because
you
we're
listened to
talking
what I
about
just
meta.
said.
Hold on, Savage. Hold on, Savage.
I don't think you listened
We're
to what I
talking
said.
about.
That's all.
Hold on. We're talking about metaphysical things. Metaphysical. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Things that are outside of reality understanding. Yeah, I know what metaphysical in general
Right.
means. I don't,
Right.
but I don't know why you're talking about that. But like, yes, I agree with you that that these things do not come from matter and energy specifically. Maybe they do. We don't know, is kind of the point. We don't
So
know where
where do you
consciousness comes
surmise they
from.
come from? Where do
We
you
do
think they
not
come
know.
from?
We don't know.
So do you think one day science will figure this out though, don't you?
Possibly, it's possible. Maybe we'll never know.
Right. So
I would not. My claim of I don't know where this comes from because there's no evidence to know where it comes from doesn't lead me to believe in the Christian God.
I didn't say you need to believe first. You have to believe. You have to come to a conclusion whether or not there is a God. Now I could
Right, and
then expound on
my
why the
conclusion is
Christian
there's
God,
probably no
Savage.
God.
Hold on, Savage. Then I can expound on why I believe that the Christian God is the true God. So
Hmm.
what you're telling me now is, how you atheists like to say God of the gaps, that us Christians make up God of the gaps. Well, most atheists come up with science of the gaps. I don't know, but eventually science will figure this out. And you tie it all in with science will figure it out. So you put science in the gap
I
of
didn't
what you
say
don't know.
science would figure it out. So I don't know what you mean by science of the gaps for me. I didn't say that.
I asked you, do you think that we will ever figure this out? You said
And I
maybe,
said
I don't know.
possibly, but I don't know.
But
How was that
if we
science of the
do,
gaps?
but if we
Did I
do
make a
figure this
positive
out,
claim that science will figure this out one day?
I didn't catch that last point.
Did, you claiming I'm using science of the gaps would be implying that I said that science will figure this out someday. I didn't say that.
So without a Christian God, or without God, what else would figure this out? How else will we figure this out?
I don't know. And that's okay with me. I don't think we need to know. I think it's interesting to want to explore these things. That's why I appreciate science, because science is exploring these things, not just basing it on a religion. I mean, I have no problem with religions that have claims on this aspect, but they're not exploring things further because they can't explain anything. They're just claiming things, where science is exploring things. But I agree. That's exactly what I'm claiming. Science does not know the origins of the universe. There was a lot of discussion on this live earlier about the Big Bang, and people didn't know what they were talking about. The Big Bang is not about the origins of the universe.
Who said
Nobody
anything about Big
claims
Bang?
that.
Who said anything about
No,
Big Bang?
I'm not saying in our current conversation. I'm just saying earlier on the live when I was listening. But so I'm
I
just saying
never, not one. I never said anything about Big Bang, even with that other
I'm
chick.
not saying you did. So sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up.
So are
I'm
you
not
speaking
saying you
about the
did.
chat?
No, well, yeah, I think it was in the chat a little bit, but I think somebody on the live was talking about it. I just remember hearing it. That's all. But the
Mm.
point I'm trying to make is that there are no claims to the origins of the universe in the scientific world. There are none. So,
That's the
like,
when you said
So
that.
you got faith. You know we're here. You
I
don't
don't
know
have
how.
faith. I
You
don't
just got
know.
faith. You
I
have
have to
faith,
have
brother.
faith to not know something.
You still have faith that we came about in some way, shape, or form. You got
No,
faith.
I have no declaration of how we came about.
Never. It doesn't. I'm not saying that you have a certain declaration, but the fact that you know you're here, you have faith on whatever that is of how we got here,
That
because
doesn't
you have
make
no
any
evidence.
sense. That doesn't make any
Yeah, you
sense.
do.
Faith is claiming to believe in something without evidence. I'm
Okay,
saying I
you
don't
still
know
have
where we
evidence that.
came
Do you
from.
believe that you're alive right now? Do you believe that you exist?
100%. My parents were
Okay, so you
frisky
have
38
faith
years
that you
ago.
believe. Hold on. You have faith that you know that you're here. Now, however you get here, you haven't posited it yet, but you have faith in that to know that you are here.
I don't have faith to know that I'm here. I know I'm here because I'm present and I have consciousness.
Well, how you know
That's
you're
not what
not? How
faith
you know you're
is.
not in a deep sleep? How you know you didn't go to bed
How do
one
I
day
know I'm not
and
in
now
a.
you just
Did you say the deep
here?
sea or the deep sleep?
I said a deep sleep. How you know you're
A
not
deep
dreaming?
sleep?
How do
What do
you
you
know
mean
you're
How
by
you know
not
you're
a
deep?
not
brain
dreaming?
in how do you know you're not a brain in a vat and all these things that you know you think you
Right, so
touch
now
and
you
things
guys
of
just want
that
to bring up
nature have
the
been
Matrix or
downloaded into your
something?
head? How do you know that your brain is not in a vat and all these things that you know and
Because
think
there
you
is
touch
no
have not been
evidence for me
downloaded
to
into your
believe
head?
that.
I know. How do you know it's not that way?
There is zero evidence to present that.
How you know that?
Like I said, there is zero evidence to
Do
know
you
that.
know
I would
someone?
never
Do you know
100%
some?
claim that.
Hold
No, I
on,
agree with
Savage,
you.
Savage, hold on. Do
There's
you know a guy,
almost zero
Savage? Hold
things
on,
that I
bro,
would
bro, bro.
100% claim.
Savage,
Yeah.
hold on. Do you know that there's a guy? He went into
A
a
guy?
coma. Yeah, he went into a coma, and he lived his whole life with a wife, kids, 20 years. He thought, and he woke up, and it was all his dream. It was all his imagination. He was just in a dream. So how do you know your mind is not playing tricks on you right now?
He needs to unmute himself. I muted him because
I
he
heard
kept
that.
talking.
I heard that story. It's pretty scary.
Okay. Like I said, I have no evidence to believe that's happening to me, so that's why I don't believe it.
So you think schizophrenic people know that they're schizophrenic?
No, you're not listening to me. There's a reason I don't believe it because the evidence, if somebody presented a bunch of evidence that said that I was in a coma, I may possibly believe it. There's no evidence to show me that that's the case. There's no
If
evidence
you're
to
in a
show me
coma, if
Not
you're in
even
a
listening.
coma, how is anyone going to present you any kind of evidence that you're in
they
the coma when
they
you're in the
Exactly.
coma?
they could in
He's
the
not even
If
listening
dream
somebody's
to
going
what
to
though,
we're
go to
saying,
sleep,
correct?
though.
if somebody's going to go to sleep and then project themselves into your mind and say, "Hey, bro,
They could in
you're
the
just in a
dream
coma,"
though,
how would
correct?
you know that if you're in a coma?
Right, but you went from like the Matrix to a coma. So what are we talking about here?
No, I said,
It's
how
the
do you
same type
know?
of scenario.
Basically,
It's
how do you
not
know
at
your brain
all.
isn't
It's not
playing
at all.
tricks
Those are
on
very
you?
different things.
How do you know your
But
brain isn't playing tricks
also,
on you?
if you guys would listen to me for 1 second, I said there's no possible way to know 100% or know anything 100%. I grant you that.
Nobody asked for 100% knowledge on something. But
Right, but
how do you?
I'm saying I need evidence to
This
believe
is why I.
something.
This is why
That's
I don't
all.
like talking with him. He just keeps yapping and yapping when somebody tries to talk. Now you had him caught. You had him caught in a trap. The word "I," because he said that graping was wrong and he believed it was wrong. But the problem is how can he justify that it is wrong? He's going to say, "Well, I was taught that it is." Well, does that mean that it's wrong because simply you were taught that it is? And this is where the infinite regression comes from. Because where did they get it from? Well, they were taught it. Well, where did they get it from? They were taught it. And they were taught it. And they were taught it. And they were taught it. It's an infinite regression that keeps going back. So again, I would love to know, like you had him right by he was in the trap bad. I think that's why he wanted to try to get out
Yeah,
of that.
I let him wiggle out of it. I let him wiggle out of it.
So could you answer how
Right,
you can
so
justify why you believe grape is wrong?
yeah, you already explained it.
So an infinite regression of people just saying
Yeah,
it,
no,
people
I don't
just
care about your philosophy terms. You already explained it that I believe it is wrong based on my internal logic and the fact that I was raised that way.
So you cannot now denounce that a grape is wrong.
How?
Yeah.
If I say that I think something is wrong, how could I not proclaim that somebody that does that thing is wrong?
Where do you
That
get
makes
wrong
no
and right
sense at
from?
all.
Where do you get wrong and
No,
right
no, no,
from?
no, 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 no. You're not going to change
Where
what
do
you just
you
asked
get? I'm
me.
not
You're not
changing
going
it.
to
I'm
change what
not
you just
changing
asked me.
anything. Where do
No,
you
no.
get wrong and
Can
right
you
from?
respond to what you just asked me?
Where do you get wrong and right from? Don't mute him, Chris. Where do you get
Muting is
wrong and
getting
right from?
frustrating. We're both over talking each other. I apologize if I'm doing it, but we're
I just
both over
want you to
talking
answer
each other.
a simple question.
Right.
Where do you get
And then
wrong and right from?
can I respond?
Go ahead, Savage.
Like I've said about 11 times, I get it for my internal logic and how I was raised and societal standards.
And like we had already
So
demonstrated to you,
I can judge somebody that does that. That's what you asked me,
Savage.
correct?
And like I just already we demonstrated to you earlier, Societies change. Societies
I agree.
change.
I agree.
So even
That doesn't mean
you
they were right.
change. Hold on. Even you change from day to day, from month to month. You're not the same as you was when you were 10 years old. You're not the same when you was 15.
I
So there's
completely
no
agree.
standard. There's no set standard for you to base your claims off of. There's no
That's
set standard.
exactly my point. That's exactly my
Okay,
point. I
this is
agree with
why
you.
I'm telling you. This is why I'm telling you that you cannot say that a grape is wrong because you have no set standard to say
No,
this.
you're not listening to me. I
I
can
am listening
say
to you,
that. I can say that because I believe it is wrong. So
but
I
he
can
believes
say
it's
that.
right. It's all
No,
subjective.
but I don't understand why this is hard to understand.
I'm not.
He
It's hard
thinks
for
it's
you to
right.
understand.
I think he's wrong. I can say that he is wrong because
Well,
I
he
believe he
thinks
is
he's
wrong.
right, and he can say that he's right. Now,
Then
who is
he
to
thinks
judge?
he's right. I
Now, who
agree
is to
that he
judge?
thinks he's right.
So now, who is to judge?
Society. That's exactly
Society.
my
I just
point.
showed you that society changed.
Right. And
1940, 1940
like we can
Smittler,
see that
1940
we're on
Smittler,
the same page here. We can see
1940
that throughout
Smittler,
history.
1940 Smittler in his society thought it was cool to
Yeah, it was
unalive all of
fucked
those
up.
people.
Completely fucked up. I completely agree
Okay,
with
so how
you.
do you know that it was messed up?
Because,
That was his
again,
society.
do I have to
That was his
say it for the
society.
14th time?
That was his society.
Society, the United States society, the rest of the world society, the majority of the world society,
It
my
doesn't matter.
parents' logic, who were not
If the
alive
majority of the
yet,
world
Hey,
got
so, like,
together, if the
Edward,
majority
I
of
got
the
a way to
world
break
got
down this
together
question.
and said it's okay, we're gonna go out and unalive all the black people, are they wrong?
yes, they're wrong. That's a horrible thing to
How you
do.
gonna
Edward and
say
I,
it's
can I
wrong?
word this different?
Why do you keep asking me different
This is what
scenarios where
society
I
dictates to
agree
you.
with you? We're on the same page here. That's what's
No,
weird.
you're not.
Hey,
You can
Savage,
go to the next live, bro.
I
Brain
would have
rot.
I would have asked him if Schmittler and you were teaching one person, how would they know who is right and who is wrong?
Yeah, it's brain rot. Atheism is brain rot. You can't say, you can't definitively say that somebody is wrong without you having something higher than you, because he thinks it's right. You think it's wrong. Now who's going to be the judge? Now who's the final judge over both of you? Ridiculous.
And
So
that's
I
the
can't.
problem with atheists, is that they don't like to answer questions when they come up on stage, is they try to wiggle it back around to you proving that God exists. That's the only reason that they're up here on the stage.
Can't believe. I mean, I didn't. Atheism is. I'm gonna bring. I see y'all other Christians in the panel, but me and Chris Carter. I'll bring y'all up in a minute, bro.
Hey,
What's up,
all
Signs?
right. That was an interesting conversation, that last one. I think he was just explaining his points very badly. But I'm not atheist, but agnostic. So it's one of those things. I don't care if God exists or doesn't exist. It doesn't really affect me, and not. But on that conversation of like, how do you know it's wrong? The thing is, like, at least from my perspective, from what I've learned and observed, it's morals are very subjective, right? Morals 50 years ago are not the same morals that we hold today, and the morals 1,000 years ago are way different than what we hold today, right? So to say that like morals are some higher divine being, that's just wrong, because morals have changed. They have not been consistent, you know.
No,
And I mean,
I think morals have been the same since human history.
like what?
We all know lying is wrong. We all know graping is wrong. We all know unaliving people are wrong. We all
But
know this,
we
and we've
still
been
unalive
knowing
people
this for a
today.
long time.
All right, so like unaliving. So is unaliving wrong in every situation?
That's
What if
just
someone's trying to? What if someone's trying to
okay.
steal your things or
Okay,
your self-defense?
murder,
Schmurder.
unjustly taking an innocent life. That's wrong, no matter what. Now, if somebody's breaking into my house and threatening me with a gun, and I have to unalive him, that's justified
Why?
because I'm protecting myself.
Because we believe,
I'm not unjustly taking a life.
well, we
So
believe
that
human
the thing is, there's
life
situations
has
where
value.
it's right and wrong, right? And where do you get those values from? Where do you
We
think you get them
believe
from?
we believe that human beings have value.
Okay, why?
Because
From
we are all made in the very image of God.
okay,
This is what gives us our value. Because if we wait on society to give us value, then that's when we get Jim Crow laws. You know, that's when we get
well,
Schindler
religion has been used to justify those things. Like it's
and
not
I condemn them.
specifically the Bible, the interpretation of it. I mean,
Okay.
it was part of slavery. I mean, the Bible never explicitly says slavery is wrong. Like they say,
Yes, it
oh,
does.
well,
It absolutely says slave trading is wrong.
slave trading, but there's a lot of places where it does justify. If you have slaves, treat them this way, or don't hit them until
See, you don't
don't
know the
beat them.
biblical context of slavery. You thinking about North
Where
America?
does it say explicitly say
Hold
that?
on, Science. Hold on, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're thinking about chattel slavery from the 1600s on up. This is what you're thinking about. That's not the type of slavery that was in the Bible. It was more indentured servitude. After 7 years, you got to let him go.
And it
Unless
says
he vow himself, hold on, unless he vow himself to you for life. That is
What does that
indentured
mean?
servitude. And then, unless he commit himself to you for life. If he love how you treat him so much, he can say, I want to be with you for life. And that's on him.
So he
But
not
it's
slavery,
the thing-
quote unquote, but
Okay, hold on,
indentured
real quick.
servitude.
Real quick, 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds.
All right, go ahead.
It's called the Year of Jubilee in the Bible. The Year of Jubilee is when they set free their servants. It's called the Year of Jubilee. And this happens every 7 years. And then I think it's on the 25th year of Jubilee. Everyone got to let their slaves go, their indentured servants go. Everyone. And then indentured servants are actually protected by a judicial system. You can't beat them. You can't do this. You can't starve them. You can't treat them inhumanely. You have to treat them good. And then at the Year of Jubilee, when it's after 7 years, when you set them free, you have to give them wages. You have to give them actual a place or things, real estate, everything to survive, so they won't end up back in slavery. And the people that actually are enslaved, their family can come and buy them out of slavery. It was all kinds of ways that slaves can be redeemed. Chattel slavery, what
So-
you're thinking about, no matter what, there were going to be a slave. Their
Yeah,
kids
well,
were going to be
I'm thinking
slaves. Their
slavery
grandkids
as
were going to
in
be slaves. It's
Slavery,
not the
but
same.
now that the Year of Jubilee, was that specific just to Hebrew slaves, or was it all people? Because from what I know, it's just Hebrew. There's a specific group of people that it's mentioning
That's
about
why I
the Year of
told you.
Jubilee.
And on the 25th year, I think is or the
Right.
21st year, it's called a super jubilee, where everyone
Super
goes.
Jubilee.
Everyone got to go.
Yeah. So indentured servitude, is that moral, or I mean, we don't do that anymore. That's not a thing.
No,
At least
you
not in
do.
America.
You
I'm
do
sure
that every
slavery's
day
around.
when you get up and go to work. You are an indentured servant to your job for 10 to 12 hours a day.
Okay. Well, that's not the definition of indentured servitude. That's without pay. Now, if you're saying going to work, you still get paid. I mean,
No,
that's
indentured
not
servitude,
indentured
like
servitude.
I said, when you set free, you get a big lump sum of real estate. They can even inherit. If the owners, if the owner's family, close family around them die, or if the owners love them so much, they can just inherit them and write them into their will to where they can inherit what the owner has. There's nowhere in chattel slavery in the North Americas or even Islamic slavery from the sub-Saharan desert, is this even a thing? Slaves in Israel were protected. And then they gave out laws that says, if you do this to your slave, if you unalive your slave, you get unalive. If you knock out a tooth of your slave, then you have to pay the consequences for it.
So I feel like
They
you're
were
giving it a
protected.
very generous interpretation of a lot of the things people have said in the Bible, but I'm not, full disclosure, not an expert in it, and I'm going to believe in your expertise. So, but it doesn't fall from the grand morality of it. Now you're wondering, like, without the Bible, where do our morals come from? Like, how could we be this way? Honestly, that's more of a sociology question. And you're trying to describe what metaphysics is. All metaphysics is something that can't be measured. They're like science. We can't measure consciousness. We don't know. Consciousness is just how we describe it. It can't be
Exactly.
measured.
So
that's all metaphysics is.
right. So this was what I was trying to get across to the last guest. Tell me a non-inanimate object that ever came or reproduced a consciousness. It don't happen.
The thing is, our experience as what we describe as consciousness is a lot more esoteric in nature. It's more of like a philosophy question. Like, are we even sure that we have consciousness? No, it's not something that that's just a word that we describe it. So when you say, like, from at what point do we develop
Are you
consciousness?
self-aware? Are you self-aware?
I mean, I would like to hope so.
You have you have consciousness. It's
okay, but are dogs self-aware? Are apes self-aware? Or, like, what does it mean to be? You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a very loose.
Yeah, that's self-aware, but they lack the rationality of certain things in certain situations. Their animal instinct takes over. Yes, they're self-aware. If you try to go and hit a dog, then he's gonna know you're trying to hit him or something. He's gonna try to move.
But they lack the rationale. So where does our consciousness come from? If I had to answer that right now, because like I said, that's not really my area of expertise either. But if I had to say, it has to do with our developed brain. We evolved in a way that it gives us, higher intelligence. With that higher intelligence, we became, I guess what you could say, quote unquote, conscious. But I mean, all in all, we're still animals. We still do things that are animalistic.
I don't think. Hold on, let me clarify something. I don't think animals know what purpose they're serving here in that aspect. I don't know. I don't think a dog knows it's a dog. You know what I mean? I don't think they know. I don't think they know that they are here for a certain purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they react to their surroundings. They're aware to a certain degree.
Hey, word now. It's almost like a pack of lions, right? A pack of lions, they communicate with one another, they care for one another, and there's an awareness of one another among each other as well, and you can find that in many different animal species. So the self-awareness definitely would be there, and that would be scientific.
Yeah, the recognition of oneself, but they've done those kind of tests with other animals too to say, oh, maybe this is conscious. It's called the mirror test, right? Does an animal recognize itself in a mirror? Certain animals do. I think an octopus does, certain birds do. But I mean, are they conscious like us? Probably not. But I mean, like I said, to measure consciousness, to say where it's come from, well, I could just say, it's our developed brain. It evolved through evolution. That was our surviving trait. It made us survive. That's what made us the apex predator on the planet. Not all times evolution means like the biggest and baddest. It's the one that survives. Now, if you're trying to put meaning into like, what our purpose is on this planet, it's easy. Every animal has the same thing. We eat, we sleep, we procreate, and then we die, or we unalive. We go in the dirt. That's everyone's purpose. What we are designed to do. Hold on. Now, what you say, what brings meaning into your life, that's individualistic. Everyone finds meaning in the stars or whatever. What you find, that's individualistic.
That's a sad existence. And
I don't think it is sad. I think it's very realistic.
I let you talk like 2 minutes, bro. Calm down.
Good.
That's a very sad existence because, like I was telling the last person, I don't know how long you've been here, but if there's no nothing to look forward after this, whatever we going through now, life that we know as life, then if you and Schmittler is going to the same place, I think that is a travesty. I think that is an abomination, because if he can unalive 6 million people and you not unaliving no one, and y'all end up in the same destination, this is a very sad world that we live in, and there's no hope for any one of us, because ultimately we're going to the same spot. So why shouldn't I go around unaliving people? For what? Why not? We're all going to the same dirt pit. Then there's no really true justification for what you are doing. Like, let's just say a serial unaliver. He goes his whole life without getting caught. Bodies pop up here and there. And he's going to tell me he's going to the same place where a kid that unalived in like a car crash, if they're going to the same place, then this is a cold, sick world that we're living in. And is why even bother?
Now,
do whatever you want.
Here's one of those questions that I think, if you had a chance to discover the ultimate truth of existence, what happens in the afterlife and all that, and that turns out to be the answer, is that what is it? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you're right. That sounds, how I describe it and stuff, it's very realistic. It's very, cold or whatever, like, like how everything else. Is that going to scare you? Is that going to make you turn crazy and like start, you know what I mean? Like, is your mental fortitude so weak that would break you? You know what I mean? Like, that might be the answer. You're right. There might be no meaning into this at all, or there might be. Like I said, you can't measure.
Nietzsche, when he concluded his book, he said that if there is no, higher power or anything like that, then this world is abysmal. Basically, there's no hope. Then why? And he's an atheist, and this is the logical conclusion of atheism. At the end of your life, if you're not going to a certain destination, if we're all just going to go into the ground and rot with the worms, then what are we doing? What is depressing? This is a depressing life.
Okay, but you're thinking like, like I said, I'm on the fence. It's kind of like, I guess it would be like a comment, like, I don't know what exists after, but I don't think about it. That's not how I live my life. I don't think about what's going to happen in the afterlife. I don't
but
live
that doesn't
my
make
life
it go
that
away,
way.
and that doesn't make it not.
No, yeah. But you know what though? Hey, 100% chance we're all going to figure it out. You're born in this world. Anything that lives has got, at some point has an end, right? And we're going to figure it out. And now I don't know what it's going to look like. And I'm not going to worry about it because, that's 100% of the time. 100%, we're all going to figure it out one day, right? Now you're banking your bets on like, whatever you believe in, that it's going to happen to be you're the right answer. But what if it's not? What if it's something more terrifying than you can possibly imagine? You know what I mean? You don't know. But you're living your entire life banked on the fact that you might, like, this book that was written 2,000 years ago by people you've never met when they didn't know nothing, still bloodletting and doing all this other stuff, and you're going to believe in that? That's what you decide to do?
How you know
don't
they
worry
don't know
about
nothing?
it.
Now you baking assumptions into a lot of things. How you know they didn't know anything?
Their medicine, like, right now we live in the most proper time in human history. I say we know a fair bit more than they do. Now, what happens in the afterlife, you can make up anything.
Hold on. See, now you still baking in things into your argument.
All right. We have to have a criteria. Like, what are you talking about?
We don't even know how they even built the pyramids. You talking about we're more technologically advanced and doing things? They know things that we don't know today. So there's no way you can sit up here and tell me that we're so much smarter and so much well behaved and so more, evolutionized than them back then, because it's things that they knew that we don't.
Hey, can I tell you something though? Hey, the pyramids, we can build them bigger and better today.
Do it. Have
We
nobody
can.
did
I mean,
it.
we already have. We've built
But
things
nobody
massive
did it.
on size. We've went to space. We built things bigger and better now. Now that you're going to compare their technology and stuff to ours, that's a non-argument. Come on, man.
So you think
Like,
technology? So you think technology is what
I'm
counts?
saying we could build the pyramids bigger and better than we can today. But
Why haven't no one
we're going
did it?
off. We're going off on a side tangent. You're arguing a point that doesn't even have a point.
I'm not arguing a point. I'm just showing you that your standards of what you're saying, that you know how much better and how much they didn't know, is not really a good barometer to judge things like that.
All right. Let me give you an example. Like I said, human beings don't always get it right the first time. We were still doing bloodletting. Can you imagine their medical? If someone got sick, what they do? Well, and it makes sense. I mean, if you don't know anything, hey, let the blood out, and then the new blood will come in. There's so many things they did backwards that we would never do today. Like, come on. Like, now, did they not know anything at all? No, of course not. They were the starting point. But human beings don't ever get it right the first time. We were still lobotomizing people until the 1980s. Why? Because that was the best what we knew. But we got better. We're a species of progress.
Anything
right?
anything that you've said in the last 5 minutes has anything to do with the writers of the Bible?
That's what I'm getting at. I'm saying you're banking your bet on that and a time period of when it was written and everything else on things when, like, we know better. We know what space is. The Earth isn't flat.
What we're banking on is the testimony of eyewitnesses to what has happened.
Eyewitness testimonies are the worst kind of evidence. That's the worst kind of evidence.
Wow.
Even in today's standards, that's the worst kind of evidence. Are you kidding me? Like,
so why do
they
they sign signs? So why, if someone get convicted of a crime, they put them in front of a lineup, and they say, pick out who did it. And if that person picks you out, then that's enough evidence for you to go to jail.
Yeah, and it's wrong. Like, eyewitness testimony, it is one of the worst type of evidence.
No,
look it up. Look it up. It is absolutely one of the worst types of evidence. I've looked into that deeply. Like, and almost everyone unanimously agrees in that field. It's bad.
See, the problem is that he's using it in the wrong context. Now, historians would definitely disagree with you. When we're talking about a historical story, eyewitness testimony is trump over what you would think anything else would be. And that's what I was speaking about as well. So quit trying to use a straw man argument to try to say that the eyewitness testimony of historical events isn't good enough, because historians use that as their criterion.
That is not all they use in their criterion. That's false. That's absolutely
false. He didn't say that's all they use. You straw man them again.
He says that's the main criteria is eyewitness testimony, and I am calling that out. That is not true.
That's what they want first. If they have that, then they love that more than anything else.
You're right. They have historical records and everything. But you know what? What are the historical records written by? The winners. You think everything the thing is, and that's all they got with historians and stuff. They don't have anything else but written record. Who knows that person, that perception?
Just a second. Can you prove that the Christians in the first century were the winners?
Dude, I wasn't there. I don't know.
So you don't know anything about the Christian history and how the Bible was brought forth or anything, but you're just making assertions about that you know nothing about?
Here's what I do know. The current Bible is written by the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? So, and they're written in different time periods and everything else, right? The Dead Sea Scrolls.
Do you know what the Dead Sea Scrolls are?
Yeah, that was an archaeological find, correct?
And what does the Dead Sea?
Now the current one, I'm gonna say, wait, hold on.
What do the Dead Sea Scrolls contain?
Look, I'm not trying to get in that. I do know that it was wasn't it translated from Hebrew?
So the Dead Sea Scrolls do have the Old Testament, because they were dated to be roughly 300 to 400 years before the birth of Jesus, or even longer. So it would have been before the New Testament, so the Dead Sea Scrolls would be evidence of our Old Testament. But we're talking about the New Testament writers.
The New Testament, Saint Peter, all that good stuff.
Signs.
Look, I don't want to get into the history of it because, like I said, I'm not that much of an expert. All I know is that there's a lot of incongruity. For example, the translations of it and everything else. I'm assuming you don't read it in Hebrew. I'm assuming what the
Okay,
King James Bible.
signs. Forget translations. Forget all of this. We're talking about eyewitness testimony. Now, if these people were the same people that actually fabricated this whole thing, there was nothing to gain from them doing this. They all died horrible deaths. They died horrible deaths. Some of them got hanged, crucified, beheaded. You tell me which group of people who fantasize and make up a story are willing, knowing that they lied, to be tortured, murdered, beheaded, everything like that in this fashion for a known lie. I'm not saying that people don't die for lies all the time, because people die for a lie every day. I'm talking about the same people that corroborated and actually came up with this lie are the same people who end up being unalive in the most gruesome of ways for this known lie. Tell me who is willing to do this. In the scientific studies that says no one is willing to do this. No one will die for a
scientific
known lie.
studies that no one would lie on an eyewitness testimony.
No one will lie.
Oh, he's not listening.
No one will die for a lie that they know is a lie.
No one would die if the nose of the like I said, the eyewitness testimony thing is weird because then you'd have to bring in all other religions as well. Like I said, you're banking on your fact. There are plenty of religions out there that have. I mean, there's people used to sacrifice two gods. Like, is that more extreme than what you're doing? I mean, obviously they believed it a little bit more.
Are you even listening to anything that we're saying, or are you just going to jump to something else every time you get into something?
Look, I don't even want to go on the eyewitness testimony. It's bad.
You're the one that went to it.
I did not go to that.
You're the one that went to. We're banking on this.
And then you guys went to the eyewitness testimony.
That was exactly what you said. So I wanted to check you on what you said.
Hold on. I said, yeah, you're banking on it, and you guys went on like, oh, the historical records, and these people wouldn't lie, not 2,000 years ago. Of course not. Come on, I didn't want to get in that conversation. Be real. You're banking.
That is not what
I did not
bring
an eyewitness testimony.
All right. This is why I don't like atheists whatsoever, because they think that they can just talk over somebody and think that they have a point. And that's not what was said. What was said is that these people were unalived because they believed something and they didn't deny that belief. So the question was raised to you. Would you go to your death and be unalived the way they were, by fire, by animals, and everything else, knowing it is a lie? Would you allow that to happen if you knew that it was a lie? The answer would be no. The scientific the records and everything, it all says that nobody would ever do that. No religion can compare to what was just said. Not Islam, not Hinduism, not anyone. None. Stick to the point. Quit running away like a little coward. You can unmute yourself now.
I'm not running away like a coward. You guys are just making these weird points. You're saying that no other person would die or unalive themselves for their religion. That's a lie. Dude, what is that? He literally compared. No. Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
Science. That's not what we said. We said nobody is willing to die for a known lie. I even granted that people die for a religion or what they believe in every day, even if it's a lie. I'm saying that the originators of said lie, the gospel writers would have got unalive in the most gruesomest ways, because they were the originators. These are the people that started this lie, and they knew. Now, if anybody knew it was a lie, it would have been them. Not saying that people don't get fooled by lies and go and unalive themselves all the time. That's not what we said.
That is my point.
got unalive, and it wasn't
Yeah.
no benefit to it.
Okay, that is my point, and it's some weird point that you're making that you're wrong. You're saying that no one would unalive themselves for a lie, right? For a lie. Obviously, they didn't believe it was a lie, right? And here, wait, hold on.
That's the point.
No, that isn't the point, dude. Do you not know of any of the cults that have popped up in the last 50 years, and they all drink the Kool-Aid?
They fell.
Wait, hold on. That is the same thing. They know. They didn't believe it was a lie. It wasn't a lie to them. They were willing to give up their lives.
Listen, Science.
That is a comparable. I am following.
Like Jim Jones and the spaceship and all of that. They fell for a lie that Jim Jones propagated to them. They fell for a lie. We're not saying that. But these are the very people that we're talking about in the Gospels, the writing of the Bible, the New Testament. If anyone that started this, these are the people that they started, and they know for certain, for 100% fact, that they just corroborated and made these stories up. They knew it was a lie. These other people, they didn't know it was a lie. They just got duped into believing something that wasn't factually correct. There's a vast difference in that, my friend. And if you don't understand that, then I don't know what to say. Go ahead.
Unmute yourself.
I feel like you're wrong. That if you don't understand that, like if you can't make a comparison between that, these people will die for a lie, but no, not my guys, not my they.
Yeah. So the difference.
You're not even listening. That is not what we're saying. You are just attacking a straw man. Go ahead, Chris. My bad.
Yeah, the difference between the Jim Jones incident and the apostles is completely different, because the Jim Jones incident, they unalived themselves. The apostles did not unalive themselves, and the apostles were unalived in the worst way possible. So they were seized, they were up on crosses, they were crucified upside down, they were burned
to lions.
Yeah, they were fed to lions and things to this nature. And before that was to happen, all they had to do is reject Christ. Like, all you have to do is read the martyrdom of Polycarp. All they had to do is reject Christ, and they lived. They wouldn't go through what they had to go through. So if you actually had Jim Jones, this would be the comparable thing. If you had that Jim Jones guy, and you had him there, and you said, either we're going to unalive you this way, or we'll let you live, and you can keep going and keep doing whatever you're doing, you just have to admit it's a lie. At that point, I can almost guarantee he would have said, yeah, it's a lie.
No dirt on my name, that's a flex, I just want commas, no drama, no stress. I got too much, I'm thankful, I'm blessed. Way up, I'm way, hold up, I got next. No dirt on my name, that's a flex, I just want commas, no drama, no stress. I got too much, I'm thankful, I'm blessed. Way